Learn the latest developments surrounding the future of Romelu Lukaku as the club are opening talks with Inter Milan over a possible loan return. We have news on Richarlison, we have news on our new kit as well, so I hope you guys definitely enjoy. You might be wondering, I'm actually surprised to see you, Nini. I'm actually surprised myself, to be fair. If you guys don't know, I do have COVID at this point in time. Yesterday I was just gone completely. Quickly, I want to say shout out to everyone in the comments yesterday who gave me advice on, taking this supplement, this vitamin, this drink. I do have things like my vitamin D here already, cod liver oil too, always taking it every single day. But of course, appreciate the love shown my way, you guys, means a lot. But I just thought while I'm feeling energy right now, I want to take advantage of it and make videos. So I hope you guys enjoy. Smash that like button if you're surprised to see me. And without wasting any more time, let's start things off and let's talk about the photos released today of the official look of our kit. Now, it's not like this is new news in that sense of like we never knew what the new kit for next season was going to look like. We've seen it time and time again, but now we're officially seeing the marketing pics being taken. I do know that a few weeks back already, the squad and the team have already taken all their like promo stuff in the new kit already. I'm hearing that the launch of the new kit is going to come sometime around early July as well too, so not too far away at this point in time. In terms of how the design is actually looking right now though, it's very safe, it's very plain. You might be surprised by the squiggly lines on the collar. I told you guys just a few months back actually that the reason behind why they've adopted this style for the collar is because they want to fight against all the replicas and fake hits made. Of course, having these like unique designs makes it very hard to do that, and essentially that's why they've made the kit look this safe and kind of plain in my opinion. This kit literally looks like our kit from the 15-16 season with a collar on top. I think it's not outrageous, it's too strong words, but it's definitely giving vibes where it's like they had leftover stock and they just made some quick update. I'm sounding cynical, I know. Let's blame it on the illness today, you guys, but one day I want to see a kit that's just like absolute gas, that's absolute fire. I think Nike, some of the kits have been alright, some of the kits have definitely grown on me. I think last season's kit, you guys know, definitely grew on me, like the bold electric yellow, blue, dark blue. On the field, the players looked on point playing in it as well. It wasn't too bad, but this one is looking very like bland and meh in my opinion. But how do you guys find it? Is this like a must cop for you? And before I go, of course, quick plug as well too, for anyone who's still interested in buying any of this season's kits, merchandise, in the description below, use my affiliate links and get up to 10% discount code using Nini10. Right now, let's talk the latest news surrounding interest in Richarlison of Everton. Now, this report did come out from a Brazilian publication, and I guess, Monitor FC, as we tend to be every single summer, continues to live on and live on. Basically, a summary of the article is essentially that, Richarlison had hopes of maybe playing for Real Madrid, but after realizing actually how much game time am I going to get over Vinicius, over guys like Benzema, Hazard, etc., he's had more realistic ambitions, and it seems like Spurs and us are the clubs showing interest, with Spurs being the favourites at this point in time to sign the player. Richarlison feels like if he was to make the move away to sign for the club, he'd be very confident in the game time he could accumulate and get. And it does seem like Everton would want around like 60 million euros to actually sell and release the player. Now, before I continue on, I do want to quickly talk about this like Monitor FC situation that we always find ourselves in. I think we have to apply some like context of reality at this point in time. Now, with players like Koundé and Dembele, the reason why we're hearing so much about them and the reason why they're favourites at this point in time is that we've been holding regular discussions with them over multiple months, and in the case of Koundé, over like 12 months plus now. So it only makes sense that these would be guaranteed signings to come, irrespective of like new ownership and new news that recently, which we only found out, that Tuchel will now get final say on how he gets to construct his squads. Naturally, it means that for other positions, especially in defence, where maybe hopefully before the sanctions came, you're hoping that maybe you can entice Rudiger to stay, you can entice Christensen to stay. It kind of explains why there's no like guaranteed set option right now, even though there's a list of options and targets that we all have an understanding of who could be the guys to play for us for next season. So realistically, I'm hoping Koundé Dembele gets done. I think for other moves, that's going to take more time. But anyway, now I've explained the situation, let's continue on with this Richarlison story. And how do I feel about this in particular? I think Richarlison is a good player, but is good enough, if you know what I mean. we're like the third best team in the country. We've got serious competition now behind us from United, from Tottenham as well too, from Arsenal potentially, and even from Newcastle, who, you know, some of the players they're linked with, if they're able to secure the targets that is literally out there publicly, they could be like a top 10 team for next season. For me, I just think that when there's options like Gabriel Jesus available, where, you know, Man City are offering the player to him, his agents are offering him out right now, who's going to cost less than the 60 mil for Richarlison, who's a much better player too. It's a no-brainer for me. Now with Richarlison, he's definitely an interesting player. He's super direct, very direct. He's not like a skillful Brazilian player. He relies more on the physicality, the pace, acceleration, things like that. But he is quite technical. You know, he can play on the left, on the right, in the middle, and up front in the two as well. He is both-footed, which is a nice, handy thing to have in an attacking player too. And last season he got 10 goals, 5 assists, which is very respectable considering the struggles that Everton had under Benitez during the start of last season. Now maybe his goal return hasn't been spectacular. I think it's been averaging like at least past 2 seasons was like 13 goals for Everton, which is alright. But I think here is for me my issue with maybe having like strong interest in him. I think there's definitely a ton of room for improvement in this game. I think his conversion, for example, I'm looking at stats like under 15% conversion based on like a lot of shots he's taken, which isn't good. And I think that kind of sums up, I think, my biggest thing with the player, which is his decision making. I think for a guy that's able to isolate himself quite well up against his man quite a lot of times, that final decision making just isn't on point all the time. You know, it's either like over dribbling for no reason, or like not playing the cross early enough, or not having his head up at the moment and then missing a run on the counter attack. I just think that, you know, if a club like us that's trying to compete against the big boys right now, you need more guarantees in terms of the quality you're expecting in the final third. That's what it comes down to. Like if Richarlison was being looked at as like a squad player because we had like amazing attackers already, I'd understand that. But for the price and money, I don't think it's a move for me personally. And I think he makes more sense at Spurs, who I hope will continue to be underneath us as the next season goes on. But still though, you know, I got to be open-minded with the player too. Only recently he's been playing more up front for Everton. I think he does his best work on the left-hand side. Of course, playing for Everton, he's been like more of like a wide forward who can drift to the left. And he does have like a good leap and good spring. You know, he's got, yeah, he's quite decent aerially considering that he's only like 5'10" as well too. But I just think there's other factors in his game too, like his discipline. I mean, he got like 9 yellow cards last season, crazy amount to be honest. And I think that kind of just reflects his final decision making as well too. So decent player, but we need to do a bit better than decent in my opinion. Anyway, it's time to discuss one of the big stories that dropped this afternoon, and that's involving the future of Romelu Lukaku. Now, I'm going to discuss multiple reports that came up from Fabrizio Romano, reports from Damasio as well too, and recently this afternoon from Matt Law as well. So let's start off with discussing what Romano had to say first. Essentially he said in this tweet, Inter are prepared to open direct talks now to discuss loan details, which is good because now it's like super official that everyone currently is looking to get this deal done and over the lines. Of course, we already know that Lukaku has spoken to our club already to force a move back into Milan, and we know that Tuchel is very happy to let the player leave, you know, based on the fact that he has blessing from Todd Bowley when it comes to having final say on how he wants the squad to be. As I'm going to keep saying, there was no bad blood between him and Tuchel, no beefs, no disorganization in the dressing room, nothing like that. The reality is they just realized that they're just not meant for each other, and that's why everything's happening currently. But anyway, right now, you know, they're going to discuss the loan fee, salary, and other details, which for me is probably going to be like the possibility of a player being exchanged from Inter Milan to get this deal over the line. Now, we do have a report that came out from the Sunday Times where essentially we get some figures now behind the valuation difference between us and Inter Milan. Currently, the reports are saying that Inter Milan are more than happy to pay Lukaku's full wages, but would only pay between 7 to 9 million when it comes to an actual loan fee. So I guess their workaround is if we pay for the full wages, give us a reduction on the loan fee. I think that's quite interesting. You know, part of me feels okay with the ownership now, the fact that we're in a much better and healthier financial situation. Do we necessarily have to be so stringent and strict in terms of, you know, the values we get for players? Sometimes I think you have to take maybe small losses, knowing that in the long term you can probably get that benefit back in the end. For me, Lukaku going into Milan, smacking it there is going to guarantee that they buy him outright, and then we get most of the money back for that deal. I think that works out maybe a bit better than just maybe playing a long waiting game where, you know, in the end, Lukaku doesn't leave, we have a player that's unhappy, and then Tuchel's plans get affected. That would be a massive L in my opinion, but let's see how reports continue to go. Now let's discuss what Damasio had to say. As he says, you know, he also confirmed the updates too, suggesting that Inter Milan are confident actually and are willing to pay the loan fee, even at a large amount, of course, to secure Lukaku. Of course, that willingness from Lukaku to take a massive pay cut is going to help get this deal over the line. Inter Milan hoping we can drop the valuation for obviously the loan fee just by a tiny bit, which would be, of course, big news for us. Still, let's quickly discuss possible player exchanges. I think currently Dumfries seems to be the favourite at this point in time. You know, guys like Martinez, Bastoni, they don't really want to leave just yet. We know that Inter Milan are currently talking to Dybala to get him to sign. However, there seems to be a difference in terms of the valuation of the contract that Dybala wants. You know, Dybala's on 6.5 million a year at Juventus. Inter Milan are offering a mil less than that, and currently, you know, the player isn't, you know, too confident in taking those terms just yet. So a player exchange, you know, freeing players off the wage bill like him, like Dzeko for example, could allow all parties get what they want. So we now end things with what Matt Law had to say, a big update that came this afternoon. Yesterday, Lukaku and his reps actually held face-to-face talks with Todd Boehly. Let's not forget the news video I dropped a few days back before, where we know that, you know, Todd Boehly and his affiliation with Rock Nation sporting agency, of course, Lukaku signed up to him. Of course, his relationship too with him and Jay-Z potentially is going to help get some things over the line currently. And the good news is that Matt Law reports that every single party now is, you know, willing to get a deal over the line. We have to realise Lukaku is one of the most important players to get rid of. I think once he goes, then there'll be other players that are going to then make their intentions known and probably leave the club. But, you know, it frees up options in the wage bill and frees up spaces for us to actually replace him now and actually focus on building the attack that Thomas Tuchel wants to have. Now, we do know that Inter Milan have up until the end of this month to get this Lukaku deal over the line, so they can exercise that growth decree law, essentially, which is going to give them a lot of which would essentially make Lukaku's sizable wages more feasible for Inter Milan, exercising those tax laws to help them. So that's the Lukaku story out of the way. We end things with the final story. That's all the stories today, you guys. Let's see if any more reports come out, and let's hope that if they do, that, you know, this euphoria I'm feeling right now is going to last, so I have more energy for later today. So on that note, I'm the EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.